continent as president, and Senior Director for African Affairs Francis Brown says the president feels it's impossible to meet today's global challenges without African leadership and partnership.
And we really see Angola as Exhibit A of that kind of leadership and that kind of partnership.
And the 1,300-kilometer Lubito Corridor rail project announced last year at the G20 in India is the ambitious priority getting much attention. A project designed to improve infrastructure and upgrade the old rail system to enhance the export of rich resources of Angola, the DRC, and Zambia.
So I think he sees the Lubito Corridor as a prime area of engagement with Angola, and so you will see a lot of announcements and deliverable on the Lubito Corridor. Already the U.S. has mobilized billions of dollars towards the corridor, so I think you can expect the president to engage with various components of that infrastructure effort, both with the companies, including a lot of American companies who are driving innovation and empowering communities, the communities and populations committing to the Lubito in new ways.
Brown points out the focus of the Biden administration for Africa has been about sustainable economic development, not to focus just on aid to the continent. But aid nonetheless flows to countries in need, particularly to Sudan. Brown says President Biden continues to be outspoken about the disaster situation in that region.
He's also been pretty forthright on calling for those who are obstructing humanitarian assistance to let that aid in. The U.S. is the leader on humanitarian assistance delivery in Sudan, and the president has talked a lot about that.
All the while as the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Force remain at war. This trip includes finding ways to improve the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo and bolstering peace and security in the eastern part of the DRC, and in other parts like the Sahel. Francophone countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have decided to form their own regional blocs, shifting away from the West and aligning themselves with Russia. She was asked about the situation in Niger, where the U.S. had to withdraw forces there.
On Niger, it's worth remembering that we don't have a military footprint in the majority countries on the continent, and that's been the case always. So that is actually pretty consistent. We make security arrangements with host countries, with partners based on specific shared interests. And through the administration, we've worked to foster mutually beneficial security partnerships by working by, with, and through African partners.
As for how the president would like to leave things as he prepares to leave the presidency,
so I think the president wants to leave first the recognition of U.S. leadership and partnership, particularly on trade, investment, and a real new approach to the continent that's not defined by assistance, but instead by investment and partnership. I think he wants to leave behind his recognition that African leadership for solving some of these challenges is essential, and that's why he'll be amplifying Angola's role mediating in the Democratic Republic of Congo and elsewhere. And I think he wants to convey the remarkable evolution of the U.S.-Angolan partnership, which is in many ways the story of the remarkable evolution of the U.S.-African relationship over many centuries. And I think you can expect some remarks from him that get at that issue.
Philip Alexiou, VOA News, Washington.